2026 is a couple of months away. And if you're the type of person that wants to get a head start on the new year, like I am, you want to have that edge going into next year and feel proud about, what you've done with the last couple of months leading up to that point. In this video, I'm going to break down seven habits that are going to help you drop your next 30 pounds and keep them off going into 2026. Most people, they think about, when it comes to losing weight, let me just do more cardio. Let me do more steps. Let me do 10, 15,000 steps a day. And although those things are fine, there are better ways and more time efficient ways to do this. And so if you're somebody, you're really busy, you have a very demanding career, and you just don't have a whole lot of time to be in a gym like a bodybuilder, I'm going to share with you some habits that I use for myself, but also my private coaching clients. And these clients of mine are dropping 40, 50, even up to 60 pounds in only 6 months. Okay. Very simple, practical, yet really effective and time efficient. All right. And so the first thing is this: most people, they just focus on calorie intake. And calorie intake is important. If you're not eating the right amount of food, you're not going to lose weight. But I see a lot of folks default to this: let me eat less, let me move more. And that eat less, move more, if it was so effective, there wouldn't be a lot of people struggling with weight loss. There wouldn't be people who are morbidly obese or have belly fat. You guys are not lazy. So, that's not the issue. Laziness is not the issue. You're putting in the work. But the issue is when you're eating less calories, but the quality of the calories that you're eating are not providing the value that it's supposed to give you. This leads to brain fog. This is what causes you to feel like you're having cravings all the time. This is what causes you to feel like you're starving and lacking energy, not just physically, but also mentally. And so, if you're the type of person who wants to have energy for your professional life, but also to be able to enjoy life with maybe your partner or with your children, there's a certain way you have to eat. You can't just starve yourself to weight loss because it's not sustainable. You can't just focus on calorie intake because if you're not eating the right quality, not only will you not look the right way or look well, you won't feel well, guys. Okay. And so instead, we want to shift to focusing on calorie intake, but also protein intake. A lot of people that I talk to when they jump on these game plan calls with me, they have no idea how much protein they're eating. They may have sometimes an idea of their calorie intake. Most of them still don't. I say maybe 10% of people know their calorie intake who talk to me on these game plan calls. But protein is super important because protein helps you build muscle. Protein helps you recover from your workouts faster. Protein helps you be able to stay full and satisfied for longer after you get done eating meals. I remember at one point in my life, I was eating a lot of fast food, and obviously a lot of fast food is processed. And back then I was getting into a good feel of understanding calories, and I was like, why am I not staying full? Like it's only been an hour and I'm already hungry again. And there's tons of people who go through this. They eat a big Subway sandwich, or they're snacking on trail mix or chips or crackers all day. And they're like, man, why am I so hungry? Why am I? And they just continue to reach over and eating all this finger food. And this finger food and this processed food, it still has calories in it. But the term we use in health and fitness is empty calories, guys. And so if you're eating a lot of empty calories, it's not providing your body with nutrient value, okay, with the essential nutrients that it needs. And so that's why it's important not to just focus on calorie intake, but protein intake. So you look well, look your best, and you feel your best. If you're like me, you want to do both. Why not have both, right? And so that's the first thing. Make sure you're eating, know your calorie intake, but about roughly 40% of your overall calorie intake needs to be protein. Give or take. It'd be a little bit less if you don't care to eat a lot of protein. Could be a little bit more if you're like me and you want to eat a little bit more protein. All right. That's like my default. I'd much rather have protein every single meal. Have protein in every single meal and eat even in my snacks. Like I could drink a protein shake, like a whey protein shake, or a protein yogurt. You know, gotta eat protein, guys. All right? And this is not just for like looks. This is if you want to feel good. Okay. This is also if you want to be healthy long term. If you have people who love and care about you, depending on you, you want to be around for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years for the people you love and care about. You got to be eating protein. This is overall health and wellness here. Okay. And so I just want to drive that point home because it's very important. You can have two people. One just focus on calories, the other one focus on calories and protein. That second person, they're not only going to lose more weight, but they're going to look and feel better. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I say it's a lot in my content. If you're not tracking, you're slacking. Put it down in the comments. If you're not tracking, you're slacking. Very, very important. I see way too many people who are I'm trying to lose weight, but it's not coming off. I feel like I'm doing everything right. And then I ask them, what are they eating? What are they doing? Well, I'm eating healthy. Then I ask them, well, how much calories are you eating on a daily basis? How much protein are you eating on a daily basis? They don't know. They get the crickets. Well, I eat this chicken in the afternoon, and then in the evening I'll eat me some fish. I say, that's not what I asked you. How much are you eating? How much calories are you eating? Because if you don't know your calorie intake, you won't know your portions. If you don't know your daily protein intake, how can you know what your portions need to be? You're guessing. All right. The same way, y'all, in your professional life, in your career, you're not guessing. You have structure. That's how you're able to be a high achiever and thrive. You have structure. So you have to do the same thing with your health and fitness. You got to have structure if you don't want to just have to try to like survive, with your health and also survive by trying to have some energy in your career. You want to thrive in your personal and your professional life. So you have to have structure with these things. Understanding your calorie intake, understanding your protein intake, this gives you structure, guys. That's what that does for you. It gives you structure. Um, and so one of the things that, a couple of things when it comes to structuring, like tracking, inside my coaching program, one form of structure is my clients, my private coaching clients, we have a community called the Lions Den. They post their meals, like a photo of their meals inside the Lions Den. That way, I do show them what their portions need to be, but sometimes, people get a little lazy. And so I'm able to see what their meals look like. And I can say, yo, that's too much, man. That ain't the portions I gave you. We got to dial that back. Or yo, this is real good right here, man. Keep that up. This needs to be a part of your weekly or daily routine with that meal. You know? Other thing we do, MyFitnessPal. Every single high performer needs to have MyFitnessPal on their phone. Got to. Whether you're already where you want to be at, or if you're not, you need to drop 20, 30, 50 plus pounds. Having this on your phone helps you manage your energy because now you know what you're eating, but you're plugging in how much of it you're eating in MyFitnessPal. And it shows you exactly how much of it you're really eating. Even if whether you're cooking at home or if you're eating fast food, you know exactly what you need to eat. You know exactly how much you're eating. And you don't have to guess. You can eat a meal and then you say, okay, cool. And then after a couple of days, you see the weight go down. Why would you stop doing what's working? Like, I know I'm a coach with health and fitness and nutrition, but it's coaching. And so when you think about sports like football, basketball, and all these things, baseball, the coach has the team run the plays that work. Why would they stop if they're scoring points and they're winning games? Same thing in health and fitness. But a lot of times, most people don't know what works and what doesn't. They're just guessing and hoping, wasting a lot of time with trial and error. But imagine if you had somebody in your corner who was like, hey, this right here, you're actually seeing results. You may not be dropping a ton of weight on the scale, but look how your clothes are fitting. Look how much more energy you have. Look how much more stronger you've become in the gym and lifting weights. Don't be discouraged because the weight isn't dropping that fast, because that's going to come. But most folks, because they don't have that type of accountability and support and structure, they get disappointed and fall off. When in reality, they were actually on the right track and they fall off. I had a coaching client of mine who's graduated, named Anthony Smith. This was a couple of months ago. he dropped about 40 pounds in my coaching program. But one of the things he really valued was being able to do the check-ins. We do check-ins every Friday. And he was just, certain weeks he wouldn't drop as much weight. Then when he first started, he was dropping a lot of weight when he first started, 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds in a week. And then, you know, which is very normal, his weight started tapering off. 1 pound here, 2 pounds there, no pounds here on a weekly basis. Didn't mean that he wasn't still making progress. And he was like, had he not had me in his corner where I could keep him on track, he probably would have fell off. You see what I'm saying? So very, very important to start tracking. Even if you don't have a coach or a professional helping you, by you tracking, you can recognize patterns. If you don't track, it's going to be inconsistent. You won't know what patterns to pay attention to. Okay, you're just feeling. You're like, oh, I'm tired today. Oh, I'm bloated today. Oh, I lost some weight. Oh, the weight went up. But you're not paying attention to what caused it to happen. Okay, and so that's the second thing. The third thing, you have to shift from being the habit of being busy to focusing on time management. Okay, you have two different people. You can have two people. Both of them have extremely busy careers. One person just say they're too busy. They're working. They have family obligations. The second person can be doing the same exact career, have demanding responsibilities at home with their kids, their partner, and maybe their parents as well, because they might be taking care of their parents. We're getting up in age, y'all. You know, and that second person says, I got to make sure I'm prepared ahead of time because I have non-negotiables I have to get done. I got to make sure my kids get in school on time. I got to make sure my partner feels appreciated. I got to make sure my parents are on point. I got to make sure I'm, doing what I got to do in business to grow the business or, excel in my career. But they also want to make sure they're taking care of their health. I got to make sure my image is on point. I got to make sure my energy is on point. And so, therefore, how can we do this with all these responsibilities? We use things like Google Calendar. We're not like guessing and hoping and maybe I'll get to that. Like, no, you plug it in Google Calendar and you see exactly what you need to do on a daily basis versus being stressed and overwhelmed because there's certain things you need to do, but it's not like you can't see it. It's just something about seeing it that makes it just more, you have more clarity. Like even me, I remember at one point I was just like, and back then I was still doing in-person training and I had so many clients. I was like, man, like how do people keep up with when they go train people? Like this is way too much. And it was around the same time I got into doing personal development, looking at Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins. And they were like, you gotta live out of a calendar. That way you can remove that stress and you don't have to guess. You just show up and execute. And every high performer needs to do that. Every busy professional needs to be living out of their calendar, not just for their career, but in their social life, their personal life, their health and fitness. You got to plug it in. What days, what times are you hitting the gym? What days and what times are you resting? What times are you eating? What times are you spending time with family? This is how people get ahead. This is the edge. A lot of people think that other people are just working so much harder or they're just spending so much more time like accomplishing things. No, it's efficiency. It's being able to be effective with the time that you have. But if you're just kind of like meandering throughout the day, you can waste a lot of time and just call it busy. Okay. That's not what we want. We want to excel, not just survive. And so that's the third thing. The fourth thing, we want to shift from being exhausted to having energy. There's a lot of people out here who are very busy and they blame being busy as the reason why they're always tired. They blame being busy as the reason why they're mentally exhausted in the evening. They're stressed. But in reality, it's not that they're busy that causes them to be exhausted. They're just not taking care of themselves. Guys, it's people that are in the same careers that we're in or that you're in, you know, and they're excelling. They have the energy, they have the charisma, they have the confidence. They're doing certain things that other people who are struggling are not doing. Things something as simple as sleeping. You can both people could be very high performing at a really high rate in their career, but one person they're only sleeping 5 6 hours a night. They waking up, they're performing at 50 or 60% of what they're truly capable of. The other person sleeping 7 8 hours a night. They're excelling. Now they're working on a daily basis at 100%, 90%. Imagine how much more productive you'd be able to be because you're able to feel rested and have energy. Like, guys, if you're not sleeping, there's studies that show if you're not sleeping, it increases your likelihood of having obesity like 55% if you're not sleeping. And so it's critical. Even at one point, my dad, he was went through this season of life where he really wasn't sleeping really well. He went and got a sleep study done. And they were just telling him about some of the critical reasons why he needed to get sleep, like why he need to make this a priority, get the issue fixed. And they said, if you're not sleeping, Mr. Charles, you can cut years off of your life if you're not sleeping. Years. And I just remember him telling me that it was just like burned into my brain. And then I was like holding him accountable, like, hey, look, whatever we gotta do, we gotta make sure you getting sleep. Cause that's a dog. And so anyway, and among other things, guys, like if you're not sleeping, your stress level gonna be high. Your stress level's high, you're gonna have high cortisol, what makes it hard to build muscle, makes it hard to burn fat. You find yourself stress eating and binge eating in the evening time, having sugar cravings, having brain fog. You gotta make sure you're rested. All right. Don't follow these crazy motivational speakers who saying sleep when you die. No, you need sleep, guys. You need it. Okay. As part of health and wellness. The next thing is we have to shift from being inconsistent to being prepared. These are habits now. These are habits, but also mental habits, ways of thinking. It's not just doing, but ways of thinking. Okay. And so a lot of people they reach out to me who are really busy and they say they have a hard time being consistent, like finding something that sticks when it comes to their nutrition and also with their workouts. Or sometimes they have all the right things. They have the whole right setup, the whole structure, the whole shebang, but they can't be consistent. And the people who live their life this way wonder why they can't get ahead. Yet there's other people who are successful just like they are, but they're like making it almost look seamless and easy. The people who are making it look easy, they're just prepared. That's all it is. They're prepared. They're not living like bodybuilders, prepping 6 7 8 meals a week. They're not doing it. But they do have an idea, and this is why I talked about having a calendar just a couple of minutes ago, having a calendar. Because when you have a calendar, you're able to see, okay, I'm gonna have a busy day on Tuesday. I might like around this time right here, afternoon, evening. Okay, let me prep my lunch and my dinner because I may not have the time or the mental bandwidth to want to cook anything. So let me just prepare ahead. Same thing. Let's say you know you're gonna have a busy week, and you may have to move your workouts to a different day. Or a workout may not be able to be as long, but because you're prepared, because you looked ahead, you looked at your calendar, you're like, okay, cool. Well, this is what I need to do. This is how I need to make sure my day flows well, you know, or the weekend is coming up. You got to make sure you prepare. A lot of people, they do well during the week. And then when the weekend comes around, they get the efforts. They just forget they even had a meal plan. And in some cases, they have a meal plan, but there's nothing at the house will come Friday. The pantry is just full of in the kitchen, chips, what else? Oreos, what a pop tarts. Now they eating their kids' food because they didn't prepare for the weekend. They just prepared for the week. But you have to prepare for the weekends also, guys. That way you're not stepping on the scale on Monday or looking at your body in the bathroom mirror on Monday, being like, God, I put in so much work last week. Then the weight done went back up. My clothes barely fit. I don't have the energy. You got to prepare. Use the habits. Okay. Next thing, we have to start managing our stress. Okay. Stress management equals energy management. When you don't manage your stress and you're just going, not sleeping, going, eating junk food, going, not being active. This makes your stress level increase because you're not taking care of you. You're basically sacrificing you for the bag, for the money, but wondering why your body, your energy, your confidence is dropping. You can't sacrifice you for the bag. Okay? You can do both. And the only way we can do that is by managing our stress. That way we have the energy because we're eating well. We have the energy because we're moving. We have the energy because we're rested. Okay? And when you have the energy, you're able to perform in your professional life and in your personal life. You're able to perform in the gym because you don't feel like you're starving, because you're eating quality fuel. You got to look at your body. You got to look at your body kind of like an exotic car, or dare I say a Corvette. I guess I'm biased because I have a C8, but you got to put good fuel in them cars. You don't put good fuel in them, they gonna eventually break down on you. And so your body is an exotic car. It's no different. All right. You have to start viewing yourself as that way, or else you're not going to put the type of fuel that's required for your body to perform at a high level. But when you do put the right foods into your body, when you do manage your energy, and you're intentional with these things, guys, this is how you build a body that you're proud of. One that doesn't break down on you in your career. It doesn't break down on you when you're with your family and you're like tired. You don't really want to do things because you're feeling heavy, you're feeling sluggish, and you just can't really enjoy life the way you want to. Okay. I talk to so many people. It's like, it's really disheartening. It's probably one of the most disheartening things I do in my profession. Talking to people who have all the potential in the world and seeing a lot of the struggles and concerns that they go through, like not even realizing at one point they didn't think it could get as bad as as it has gotten for them. But they got to make that change. You got to make that shift. Okay. And the shift is the last one. Number 7, I'm getting ready to share with you now. Number 7, you have to shift from quick fix. We all want to get results fast, y'all. That's just who we are. We want to get fast results. I don't care what it is. It could be money, it could be fitness, it could be anything. We want to get it fast, but when we focus on fast, we don't think about what is going to last long term. Okay. And so what's going to last, because I've been coaching over 16 years, what I see that lasts long term is not a cookie cutter diet, not a generic workout, not just I just need to get me a good workout. I need a strict diet plan. No. The one thing that allows my coaching clients to drop 40, 50, 60, 100 plus pounds and keep it off, you have to shift the way you view yourself. A lot of people don't think about this. It sounds woo woo, but it's really how it is. Okay. I want to prove this point to you. I want you to fast forward based on where we are right now. I think we have a little over 3 months. Yes, a little over 3 months before 2026. I want you to fast forward to 2026. And you're down 30 plus pounds. Let's just say give or take 30 to 40 pounds. And I want you to listen to what I'm really telling you right now. I want you to listen to the words I'm telling you. And I want you to really imagine what your life would look like when you're 30, 40 pounds down in 2026. How would this impact your personal life? How would this impact your professional life? How would the people that you love and care about at home view you? How would they feel about you? Would they be inspired? Would they be motivated? You're down 30, 40 pounds. You have more energy. You have more confidence. You have, just more life. You feel good. You looking good and you feeling good. How would your partner feel? How would that impact your relationship or your children, you and your kids' relationship? How would this impact the people at work in your career? Would they admire you? Would they be inspired by you? Would your team level up because they see you leveled up? That version of yourself, I want you to think about that. Like, how does that person move on a daily basis? How does that person view themselves? That's the version you have to start thinking like and living like now. Because if you don't start thinking and living like them now, the transformation will never happen. The diet and the workout, those are just tools to help the transformation. But the transformation has to happen internally, mentally, spiritually. That's when you truly have results that stick. If you want to be able to drop 30 plus pounds going into next year and you want to keep it off permanently, you want to look your best and feel your best and have energy and confidence and just like worry free from health issues and lack of energy, you got to start identifying yourself as the type of person who has those things now, living that way now, having those habits, having that way of thinking. Because if you try to, the people who try to like just use the diet and the workout plan, oh, I don't know how to, just give me a diet plan, workout plan. These are the people who lose a little bit of weight and then gain it back every other year. These are the people who always find some type of resistance. There's always something that derails them to fall off track and they end up gaining the weight back. But when it's in you, when it's a part of your identity, you find a way to go to the gym. It's not even it's not a chore to go to the gym. It's not a chore to eat the right foods. It's not a chore to sleep the right sleep. Focus on your sleep and prioritize your sleeping and drinking water. It's not a chore. It's who you are. It's like this is who I am. This is how I live. And so when people are like, "Oh, that's what you," I'm like, yeah, of course. Of course I eat healthy. Of course I drink water. Of course I go to the gym. And it's like it's normal. You have to normalize that way of thinking. You have to normalize these habits. Otherwise, this is how a lot of people lose weight and keep gaining it back year over year, month after month. They keep struggling. But when they make that mindset shift, that identity shift, this is how you get results and keep them, guys. All right. Hopefully, y'all found this helpful. Want to give y'all some gain today, especially as we got one more month before we go into Q4. But I believe y'all will find this really helpful. And if you utilize what I just shared with you, I'm telling you, it'll take your body and your health, your energy, your confidence to the next level, 100%. I see a couple people commenting. Can you? I'm not exactly. Nah, I don't speak Turkish. YouTube is sending my videos out to Turkish people. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. But anyway, I am here in Atlanta, Georgia, guys. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. Um, but yeah, if y'all like help from me, you'd like to have a proven game plan, something that's structured and tailored to you, your goals, your lifestyle, your fitness level, and a plan that doesn't, cause you to have to sacrifice your career or your family life. Uh, I'll drop a link down in the description below. You can explore the option of being able to work with me, and we'll talk soon. All right, we out. Peace.